If you want to become a millionaire, you have to do what millionaires do, right? So you have to follow their habits and do the same things they do every day that made them millionaires. And the way we know how to do this is by observation. We don't have to guess. We can find out what they did. A guy named Tom Corley spent 5 years studying 223 millionaires and their daily habits. Calls it the Rich Habit Study. And here's what he learned. Number one thing he learned was that there's 4 main paths to becoming rich, to becoming a millionaire. And the average net worth of these individuals at the time, this is a few years back, $3.4 million. So all of them were what most people would consider to be rich. So there's 4 ways to get there, right? Number one was the saver investor path. Pretty obvious. Save your money, invest in stocks, in real estate, in whatever you want, and grow that money gradually, of course. Number 2 was the company climber path. Now, the company climber path is where you go to work for a company and maybe you job hop to work your way up the ladder, but your goal is to move up the ladder, become super successful in your company, get a really big income bonus structure, and to make your money that way. Path number 3 is the virtuosos. These are the people that get advanced degrees like doctors and lawyers and who are experts at something where they get paid a lot of money to be really, really good at something, to be a virtuoso. And path number 4, this is my favorite. This is how I became a millionaire. So near and dear to my heart, this is the dreamer. Now, these are people who become actors, musicians, authors, or what other normal people can do that aren't super talented like that, because I'm not, which is to start their own business. And this is where the dreamers come in. And the dreamer path can be the hardest path in one sense, but it's also the most rewarding because he documents that the dreamer's path is the fastest way to get rich. That's not even close. In fact, in his study of his, millionaires, the whole group had an average net worth of 3.4 million, but the dreamers, okay, they're an average net worth with 7.4 million. So more than twice as much as the average person in his study. And they were able to accumulate that wealth in a much faster period over just about a dozen years to get to that number. So when you think of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or any other high net worth individual that started a business, they're the dreamers. Now, you can be a dreamer too. So let's talk about, can you do this? How do you do this? Well, let me tell you some of the caveats, the things that you have to go through and be willing to do. But if you're willing to do them, the rewards are huge. First of all, long work hours. The average dreamer reported working 65 to 75 hours a week, every single week. Again, during the startup phase, you can enjoy the fruits of your hard work later, but in the beginning, you've got to put your nose to the grindstone and keep it there. You have a stressful lifestyle because a lot of times it's hard to make ends meet. You got to dip into savings, into retirement savings. You're going to have to sacrifice to reach your goal, whatever your dream is in whatever type of business that might be. There's high risk. Look, high risk and high reward go hand in hand, whether it's investing, whether it's in the business world, and you have to realize that you might fail. Half the people that are in this dreamer pool that he tracked failed, many of them more than once. And failure in some cases meant going bankrupt. Now, these are the same people with an average net worth now of $7.4 million. So failing is actually an option. Failing can happen. Failing is normal. Struggling is normal. One of the things you have to realize is that this is not like the people on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter who live glorious lives where they never go to work and they have seemingly endless amounts of money. This is what real people are doing, which is they're struggling, they're working hard, they're focusing on their business, and they're achieving huge, huge success that is more money than if you lived reasonably well. You had $7 million, you could live pretty good and never have to go to work again if you didn't want to, right? You could do whatever you want to do, help whoever you want to do the great things that you'd like to do in life for you, your family, other people, charities, whatever, right? One other caveat in this is that it's demotivating. You're going to have a lot of people tell you, no, you can't do this. You don't have the skills. You're not smart enough. You're not good looking enough. This is for other people. You ought to go get a job. You ought to, whatever, right? You're going to hear this all of the time until you're successful. And then people will ask you, how did you do it, right? So be prepared that everyone's going to tell you can't do it, but you have to have belief in yourself because then you can go and do these things. Now, some other things you should understand, some personal traits, right? First of all, if you're the kind of person that working for a boss isn't an option, then this is for you, being a dreamer. I know, there are times, especially early days starting this, current suite of businesses that I have, that I just kind of, sometimes would sit down with my wife at dinner and be like, okay, I want to quit. I want to go to work in a factory. My job, I want it to be take part A and stick it in slot B. because I don't want to have to think. I don't want to have to deal with problems and everything else. But here's the truth. By like day 2, I'd be in there telling them, you guys don't know what you're doing. People are wrong. The guy over there is too slow. This whole system is screwed up. We gotta change everything about this. You guys are a complete mess here. Let me straighten you out and tell you guys the way it should be. And I'd pretty much be unemployed because they'd fire me within like a week. And, and early on, I mean, talk about people that can't work for someone else. See, first job I ever had working in an ice cream shop, got fired from it. Second job working at a Burger King, got fired from it. I'm not a good person necessarily to have as an employee based upon that, right? Okay, next thing is you got to be goal oriented. You have to set goals, write them down, figure them out, focus on them, really want them, internalize them, and you got to go after them. You have to engage in self-improvement every day. This is super important. Now, this might be simply reading a book, attending a seminar, getting on a webinar, exercising but every day you have to keep improving yourself because you are the asset that drives the business, that drives your life. You have to, just keep improving yourself, improving your connections, improving your knowledge, improving everything about yourself. And if you do that, you will achieve great things over time. You don't have to do this 8 hours a day, 30 days. That's plenty. And that's the average of what these millionaires were doing, was 30 minutes a day of self-improvement. You also have to live a lifestyle that's moderate to start with. Now, you're going to get rich if you do all this, right? So in the end, you can live however you want to live. But at the beginning, you're going to live a life of moderation because you need to keep money freed up to invest and grow the business. You can't be like, okay, I've got $20,000. I could spend $19,000 of it screwing around and $1,000 on the business. No, it needs to be the other way around. You can spend $1,000 on whatever your essential needs are, and $19,000 should be in the business because you want that business to have the room to accelerate and grow for you. This is a key one here. You have to accomplish your daily tasks. Everybody that is successful has a to-do list. I don't quit at the end of the day without my to-do list for what I'm going to do in the morning. And when I get up, I go to work and I do the things on that to-do list. And you have to have this must do it now attitude that you're going to keep going no matter what interruptions, what happens, what gets in the way, you're going to get that list done. You don't get that list done, you don't quit. That's how the hours get so long. But if you're going to just be one of these people that says, oh, I've got a long list of things to do, but can wait tomorrow and the next day. And I don't want to stress myself out, then don't start the business. Okay, business and being in business are equal stress. You have to learn to deal with stress. Stress doesn't kill you. How you deal with stress kills you. So you just learn to deal with it. That's where self-improvement, meditation, exercising, doing the right things will allow you to deal with the stress so that it isn't going to cause you a problem, mentally, emotionally, physically. But if you're not willing to do that, you should not be a business owner. That's plain and simple. That's the bottom line. Okay, because there's going to be days that just really suck. But if you want to get to the days that are, oh, this is amazing, the amazing results, the high net worth, the huge income, got to go through those days that suck. That's all. Got to do it. Okay. And last but not least, don't dwell on your failure. Look, all of us in business fail. Some of us more spectacularly than others. Some of us more often than others. And I continue to do things in my business, as do my partners, that are just absolute failures. We have ideas that we go out there, spend a lot of money, time, energy, effort on to try to make them work. And then they're horrible. Not the dumbest idea I've ever had, because I can only have had that once. And thankfully, I still haven't repeated that one. But you're going to have a lot of failures. You just have to let them go. So a friend of mine taught me this years and years ago. Give yourself a 5-minute pity party when you're like, okay, man, I completely screwed up. And it's like this, kick yourself. Shouldn't have done this. I should have known better. Somebody should have saved me from myself. We should have done whatever, right? Then you take the digital files and delete them. The written printed files, throw them in the trash. Burn them if you want to. Just let it go. You got to move on to the next thing. Dwelling on the failure. Learning from it's important, but dwelling on it, kicking yourself, being depressed about it, got to throw that out, because you can't succeed if you're going to dwell on the failures of the past. And again, this is where social media does you a disservice, because everybody you see on social media, they only have successes. Because very few people get on social media like, man, I screwed up. Made a bad decision. We wasted 6 months, $300,000. It's a bad idea. Should never have done this. No one ever posts that and says that, right? They're like, oh man, life's perfect. Okay. But it's not always that way. Not for entrepreneurs that are really out there grinding, growing a business. But man, when you succeed, it's awesome. So follow these habits of millionaires. And if you do them and you stick to this every single day, take action, follow your goals, do self-improvement, take action, take more action, and you do that every day, you will succeed. You will become unstoppable. So go out there, follow your dream, write down your goals, take action, and I wish you the best of luck.